gosh, this is the least comfortable chair I've ever sat in. There's literally a nail poking out of it. 100% this is just here for decoration. I really shouldn't be sitting in it, but it seemed like a good spot to sit and film. Welcome to another Tea Time Tangents with Amy. For those of you who are new, hi, my name is Amy Rebecca, and in these videos we sit down and have very real, honest, raw, informal conversations about things that are going on in my life. Struggles, concerns, whatever's been on my mind. Before we get any further into this video, I just want to apologize for any bizarre background noises you may hear. Babies crying, roosters roostering, relentless piano playing, the sound of construction from every possible angle. I moved to Hanoi 6 weeks ago? I have no idea. I moved to Hanoi at some point in the recent past, and it's really noisy at my new apartment, so apologies for that. My move to Hanoi is actually going to be the theme of the video today, and look, I know that I have not been uploading consistently since I got here. In fact, I pretty much dropped off the radar in all aspects, like YouTube, Patreon, TikTok, Instagram, the whole thing. I have not been showing up for you guys. And recently I've come to realize and accept that I've also not been showing up for myself since I got here. So there's a lot to unpack in this video. There's a lot I have to say about things I've learned about myself since I moved to Hanoi, things that I've realized since getting here, and big questions that I need to answer moving forward. And right at that dramatic pinnacle, my battery's about to die. Can you believe it? Okay, we're back. Honestly, I don't even really know where to begin with this video because I just have so many thoughts and feelings buzzing through my head at the moment, and they have been for the last few weeks. But I guess the most logical place to start would be, what the heck am I even doing in Hanoi right now? For those of you who don't know, this is not my first time living overseas. I moved to Kuwait in 2017, I think, and then I lived there for a year. And then after that, I spent 2 years living in Bahrain, which I absolutely loved. Like, living in Bahrain was the best time of my life. And I don't know for sure, but I think I would probably still be living there if it wasn't for the course that my life took. I got engaged while I was living in Bahrain. He wanted to relocate, so I gave up my job, my apartment, packed up my life, and then a few weeks later the engagement was called off, and like, it was a lot. I mean, I wrote a whole book about it. It was obviously a pretty intense part of my life, and it threw everything up in the air. I did have the opportunity to go back to Bahrain, and those of you who have read the book will know one of the main reasons why I didn't do that. But also there was just this sense that I didn't want to go backwards. I wanted to go forwards, but I had absolutely no freaking idea which way to go. I had the rest of my life pretty much mapped out when I got engaged, right? Like, move to California, get married, have kids, move to Scotland, live happily ever after, do all the stuff the happy married people do. And then suddenly I had absolutely no idea where I was going, and I was in a really dark space. And I'm really pleased and proud to say that I pulled myself out of that, right? Like, I invented this thing for myself called the This Time Next Year Challenge, where instead of focusing on the past or the future that I was never gonna have or the present that sucked, I was just gonna focus on where I wanted to be by this time next year, and I was going to do one thing a day that would help me get there. It completely changed my life. Like, if you don't know what the This Time Next Year Challenge is, I have so many videos about it on TikTok, which I will link down below if you want to check it out. I am going to be making a whole video about it soon to teach you guys how you can do it, because it really did change my life. It was a 180. I went from being depressed and lost and having no idea what I was doing to being genuinely the happiest and most fulfilled and confident version of myself. I don't know why I'm crying about that. That doesn't seem like a sad thing. I haven't had my coffee this morning. This is just lemon water. I blame the lack of caffeine. Anyway, I finally felt like I was heading in the right direction. Like, I don't know, I think some people in life just know where they want to go. They just know exactly what they want. and they just keep aiming for it. And then there are people like me who have absolutely no idea what direction they're heading in, but they really just want to get somewhere. It's rough figuring out what you want from life if you don't really know. And the This Time Next Year challenge really helped me with that, because I could focus just on where do I want to be by this time next year, not on like the next 70 years of my life. 70? Do I think I'm gonna live to be 100? I keep forgetting how old I am. I started making these incredible changes in my life, and I started becoming this version of myself that I'd always wanted to be, but it had never come to fruition. And it was amazing. I loved it, and I was seizing all of these new opportunities. I was like meeting new people, trying new things, going new places. I published a book. I started working freelance for the BBC, which is something I never would have cooked up in my wildest dreams. Like making content for the BBC. I grew this amazing social media following, and all of a sudden, like, I was helping people get out of that dark place that I had been in, and it felt amazing. And I remember at the beginning of this year, maybe like February, March, sitting down to write a manifestation letter. And if you don't know what a manifestation letter is basically Life by Lucy. She makes great videos about this, by the way. You sit down and you write a letter as if you're writing it from the future, right? Thanking the universe or God or yourself or whoever for all of the amazing things that you now have in your life. You're writing it retrospectively from a place that hasn't actually happened yet. Does that make any sense? Anyway, I distinctly remember sitting down to write this manifestation letter, and I just didn't know what I wanted. I was very conflicted. On the one hand, I wanted to keep going with this whole content creation thing and teaching people how to be happy and sharing my life with people and being creative and doing all of these like cool things, making videos, stuff that I really enjoyed. And on the other hand, I felt like I wanted to get back into teaching because that's something that I missed. I missed traveling, like I missed working overseas and being an expat teacher and meeting new people and going new places. And it really felt like I had two very different paths that would lead me in two very different directions, and I didn't know which one I even wanted. And then a very dear friend of mine was talking to me about how she'd moved to Hanoi and she loved it so much and her life was so exciting and she was meeting all these amazing people and she was taking these great trips. And I missed that because that's the kind of life that I'd had when I lived in Bahrain. And even though I didn't want to go backwards to Bahrain geographically, I wanted to go backwards to that time in my life. Why do I keep crying? I didn't realize that I was going to be so emotionally fraught during this video. I do apologize. Subconsciously, a part of me wanted to go back to that lifestyle. I missed it, of course I did. That was a really great time in my life, and the idea that I could start a new life that would be similar to that was really appealing to me. So I applied for the job in Vietnam, I got it, and here I am. Was it the right decision? I don't know. I'm trying to be logical about it. I've been here 5, 6, 7 weeks. I don't even actually know at this point. Time has lost all meaning. I haven't been here long. I'm adjusting. And I think before I got here, I had this expectation that because I'd lived overseas before, that I would slip into this lifestyle very easily and that I kind of knew what to expect. And the reality was very different from that, because living in Vietnam it's polar opposites from living in Bahrain or even living in Kuwait. There's been a really intense culture shock. There has been a lot of loneliness. I mean, I'm here by myself. I've been rattling around this apartment because I've also had COVID this week, by the way, which I don't know if that's why I'm so emotional also, but I've had COVID. So I've been in this apartment by myself for 3 days. I haven't seen another human being. And obviously with time, I know from experience that those things get better. You adapt to the new way of life. You meet new people. You make a new life for yourself in a place. So it could just be that. It could just be that I am taking longer to adjust than I expected, which would be completely okay, by the way. If you move to a new country and you don't immediately love it, I think that's reasonable. But I can't quite move past the part of me that wonders if it really just isn't for me. Because in moving here, I've given up so many of those small pieces of myself that I built up during my This Time Next Year challenge. Like, I had accumulated so many pieces to the puzzle that is Amy, like the best version of me. Like, I discovered that I love to dance and I was going to a dance class every week. I discovered that I like roller skating, go for weekly runs. I had a daily routine with my 1 mile mental health walk. And these are such small things, but they all came together to bring me so much joy. And I don't have any of those things here. Also, even creating content, like I love that so much. Like, I have such a drive to do that, and I've struggled. I don't have the time. I'm working 45 hours a week, and with commutes, it's 50 hours a week I'm out of the house. I'm exhausted by the time I get home. I haven't had the mental energy to put into it because all of this stuff has been going on in my head. It almost feels like over that last year where I was doing the This Time Next Year challenge, my life was getting exponentially better. Like, I kept getting happier and more fulfilled and finding new things about myself and building routines and habits and hobbies, and it was just getting better and better and better. And then I sidestepped onto a different track and I've just stopped dead. And there is nothing to say that I cannot pick up momentum in this new lane that I'm in, but it's been hard and I'm struggling with it. I guess the only thing I can really do at this point is give it time, because like I said, by Christmas I might love living here and not want to leave, and by Christmas I might also realize that this just wasn't the right decision for me. And don't get me wrong, okay, don't get me wrong, it's not like I'm having a miserable time here every day and I'm like crying myself to sleep at night. I have amazing friends here. I took a trip to Nha Trang recently, that was amazing. I have another trip planned in a few weeks. My mom is coming to visit, I'm so excited about that. Like, I go out to nice restaurants and I meet cool people and I enjoy. Something feels misaligned. All I can really do right now, and I know this is the best possible thing I can do, is keep looking towards where I want to be by this time next year, and maybe sit down and try and get a clearer idea of that. I think I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. I just don't want to say it out loud. Get over yourself. I want to make content full-time. I want to do that as my full-time job. I want to be able to sit and chat with you guys and that be what I do. I want to be able to make courses for you guys. I want to be able to make PDFs and worksheets and all these different things, and like share vlogs and share experiences and sit down and tell you about the real stuff and be open and honest with you like this, and not brush over things and not gloss over things, and have like an Instagram and a TikTok that's very real and down to earth and doesn't pretend like life is rosy all the time. I want to be that person, and I want that to be able to do that full time. And I never say that out loud. I've known that for so long and I've never said that out loud because I'm always like, what if I fail? Jeez Louise, this is deep and intense. I know this, all of this whole situation that I'm working through in my life right now is very specific to me, but I also think some of these bigger questions, some of you might be able to relate to as well. Like, where am I going? What am I doing? Is there something that I want in life that I'm just too afraid to put myself out there and do? And I am happy to sit here with my now cold lemon water and probably patchy makeup where I've been crying and tell you that everyone struggles with these kinds of things. Like, look, I have worked on myself consistently for the last like year and a half. I have come so far. So many people tell me like, you're an inspiration, I look up to you, I want to be where you are. And I'm still struggling, and I will continue to keep struggling because you're never at like the finish line. Happiness isn't a finish line that you cross and then you're just done and the rest of your life is easy and rosy. New things will always crop up. It's just the way that you handle them. And right now I think I'm gonna handle this by giving myself time, trying to make my life here as enjoyable and as fulfilling as I can, start reintroducing some of the habits and the routines that I enjoyed at home, trying to see how much of that I can bring into this new life, and work my ass off to try and also make good content for you guys, because I just realized sitting here talking to you that that's actually what I want to do. That was a lot. I don't feel like I've really resolved anything in my mind, and I feel like I've dumped a lot of stuff on you guys. Apologies for that, but I just wanted to be very real and honest about where I am, because I know I haven't been turning up for you. I also haven't been turning up for myself. And I want to face that head on, kind of draw a line under this, and move forward. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for a very unexpectedly emotional video. If you did stick around to the end, thank you so much for being here. Like, that was probably a lot and probably quite long, so I really appreciate you. Let me know if you made it to the end so I can personally thank you, because you must have some patience. We got this, guys. We have got this. Don't forget that you are enough just as you are. I love you so much. And I will see you in my next video, which I promise I will make for you soon. Bye, guys.